everybody. Hope you're doing good here. Gabe and Nick here with the Garnet Bros show. We are finally back. It's taken us so long, it seems like, and I'm sorry about that. I tell you what, life has gotten busy since the last Garnet Bros show update. So, Nick, I know you have some exciting things you'd like to share. Why don't you share that with us, and then I'll kind of give an update, and then we'll jump right into it. We've missed y'all. We're ready to get back. We hope y'all have been waiting, but if you haven't, well, we're here anyways.
That's right. Like Gabe said, it's been a very busy time for us, my wife America and I. We have our little girl now, and we have our newest Gamecock fan, I guess you could say, especially our newest Garnet Bros show watcher. But yeah, she's awesome. She is basically 2 months old now, so she is growing right along, doing all the things. So we're super excited to have her with us, and eventually she'll be going to games with us and rooting for the Gamecocks too.
That's absolutely right. And I will say, yes, I was the first person to buy her Gamecock outfits.
That's right.
And her first baby outfit that she got that was Gamecock oriented said, "Poop your pants if you hate Clemson." So just saying, Uncle G has her covered. She's going to be a Gamecock, and we're so happy for y'all.
Thank
Another
you.
quick
Yes.
update. I know a lot of y'all follow us personally as well, and you know about our mom's situation with her cancer journey. We recently got really good news that we're thankful for, and so we're holding on to that. But life has just been ridiculously crazy busy. I'm working on my PhD, my EDD, and I'm between school, working, having a baby, and taking care of mom. We wanted to bring basketball season to you and baseball season and the off season and recruiting, but it just got hard, and so y'all forgive us for that. But we're back now.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so super, super excited to be back. Hey, we're also excited to be coming back on a couple of different platforms. And if you're joining us on these platforms, we're excited that you're here as well. And so we told y'all we're going to bring some updates to the Garnet Bros show the next time we were able to come online. And we hope that you enjoy that now. It's still a work in progress. Work with us and give us a little bit of leniency as we work out some bugs with our new technology. But
For
we're
season
excited about
two.
it, and we hope you can enjoy it as we get started. Like you said, with season 2, new and improved. We like it.
Right. That's right.
Well, if you're ready, Nicholas, let's just jump right into it.
All right, let's do it.
I was wondering, what have you heard as you've been following things very closely in the summer? What's the biggest off-season news you have heard about that you were excited the Gamecock Nation should be excited about as they're listening to this podcast as we get going to start off the 2025 season?
All right, so like you said, a lot of exciting news around the program, a lot of hype around the program. This year is feeling a lot different than where we were last year at this point. A lot of hype behind Shane Beamer, behind LaNorris Sellers, and a lot of our big key players. I think the biggest thing that I've heard or been excited about so far is our recruiting class, the way that we have recruited in the past, and we're seeing the guys now on campus for the 2025 season and for the seasons to come. I think the 2026 class is underrated. There have been, I think, 13 or 14 commits, which is a low number comparatively across the SEC. But the type of blue chip guys that we have ranks like, I think, 6th or 7th last time I checked. So that's probably the most encouraging thing to me, is that we are here. I think South Carolina has arrived, and no longer is it like, oh, little South Carolina, or we're going to go in there and we're going to have a win. These teams and these coaches are actually taking, they're listening, they're watching, they're taking notes about South Carolina, LaNorris, and all of our playmakers. But not only are we here now, but we're still building for the future. And I think, if you can get those little pieces here and there, they turn into big pieces down the road.
I think that's also what I'm most excited about is even though we did lose a lot on defense and how powerful that defense was in the last iteration of Gamecock football, I think what I am excited to see is how Beamer is able to plug the holes with the transfer portal, with recruiting, with development. I think I'm excited to see, even though, yes, we have lost a lot in today's college football world, losing a lot is not an excuse to have a good or bad season.
It's
You're
not.
supposed
That's
to have a
true.
good season no matter what. With NIL, with transfer portal, you need to have a good season immediately again. And I think Beamer is really, really good at finding what he needs to plug into his slots to be most successful for his team.
I agree with that completely. And also, I would say, think Beamer and company are even better about getting a guy to our standard of the program. I think they develop guys that, that have come in and might not quite be there yet, but then you see them, and the guys that were slept on last year, I think of Demetrius Knight Jr. is now a second round pick and is getting a lot of money and a bag in the NFL. So that just speaks to the way that they're able to, develop these players as well.
Well, I know you and I were speaking about that earlier, actually, and we brought up the fact that I was actually hearing on the flagship radio station lately that people like Demetrius Knight Jr., Nick Emanwari, people like that who came in as these 3-star players. I think what's happening is people are seeing, if I come to South Carolina, even at a JUCO player, I have enough time still under Shane Beamer and the coaches he has there to be developed into a player that can go in the first round, can get a multi-million-dollar contract and a guaranteed contract. These are people that Beamer was able to do that with, that represent South Carolina. And this is the type of money that they're getting that changes not only their lives, but really an entire community of lives. So kudos to Beamer for that. And I'm excited about that too, to see how the development has gone from, all right, we're talking about it now, to you're on the field and you're starting. We got to see what you can do or can't do.
That's right.
But speaking of that, what is one thing that you're most excited about and I'm most excited about going forward? If you had to pick one thing this football season to focus on, you are excited about seeing, what are you excited about 2025 Gamecock football?
All right. One thing is super hard because we're Garnet and black all the way. We always have been, always will be. But I think the biggest thing that I'm excited for is seeing LaNorris Sellers hopefully take that next step. I know he was phenomenal last season, but just I think he's ready to take that next step and be truly one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, but not just, every now and then or certain big games and things like that, week in and week out. I think the most exciting thing is that we have that guy who's going to throw and run, and who knows what, the offensive coordinator has cooked up for everything. But I mean, when you have a guy like that, I just think it takes a lot of games that could, be classified as a toss up or a winnable game. And it kind of gives us the advantage to win.
I agree with that. I think the thing I'm most excited about, and probably all of Gamecock Nation, is to see year 2 of starting for LaNorris. And I think what I'm also most excited about, you hinted at it, but with Mike Shula now calling the plays, I'm excited because people who know Mike Shula know he was up in Charlotte in 2015 with Superman, Cam Newton.
That's right.
And if you could think about any football player that matches LaNorris's build, size, and capabilities as closely as they possibly could, really Cam Newton is about the only person who comes to mind.
That's right.
And I mean, if you think about that 2015 team for the Panthers, the Carolina Panthers, if we could somehow get just a fraction of the magic they had on that offense, it would be an incredible year for Gamecock football.
That's right.
LaNorris Sellers was picked first team overall preseason SEC. So he's picked number 1 quarterback in the conference. Now, there's some controversy over that. Some people think that that's ridiculous because of the way he started last year. Not that he started bad, but he finished so strongly.
6 games in a row, and most of them were ranked opponents. Some of them were top 10 opponents. I mean, and still I go back to that, and I'm thinking the 3 losses that we have. I know, we lost to Ole Miss fair and square. They just beat us. They had our number that last year. But if you look at the way that we lost those other 2 games and the way that we won the rest of the games, I just don't understand the college football playoff committee overlooking a team like South Carolina. And I just think that we were red hot at the right time. And it's, it just goes to show that I think what they're looking for is not a hot streak, not, the most, the most famous team right now or the most catchy team right now, but just wins. So I think this year, like what Shane Beamer said last year, he said, if we are just worried about wins, then it's a lot harder when you play in the SEC.
Right.
Best competition.
Right. I know I saw something today on the Paul Feinbaum show that was talking about Teams like Ohio State, I think Michigan, a couple others, Indiana. Yeah, they went and had really great seasons, but the 3 out of conference or other teams they played were like all 3 were like basically glorified high school teams. And so it's like if this committee is going to prioritize wins over, strength of schedule, competition, everything, then just find some games you can win.
Well, I think right, and I think there's a huge blemish on the entire college football playoff, committee and all that, because you look at Notre Dame, and they lost to that. I think it was NIU, that smaller school, at the start of the season, and it's like, in any other year, that's the end of it, and it's embarrassing. Like, it should be embarrassing that they made it to the national championship game. I just think that tells you right there that there are flaws that have to be worked out with this process, and I think it's really hard to leave it up to a committee of people rather than using an FPI system or some sort of system that's in place already to rank the teams.
Metric system that you need a combination of human input and computer input, in my opinion, to have the accurate rankings. And basketball does a phenomenal job, in my opinion, of doing that. But we're not talking about basketball. We're talking about football. Right. And even though I am upset about the outcome of last year not making the playoffs, how exciting would it be for us this year for South Carolina to make the playoffs? And I mean, is that what we're talking? Is it playoff or bust? If we don't make the playoffs, like, what Gamecock Nation, you can answer this too in the comments, help us out, or when you share. But what would be considered a good season, like an acceptable season, a phenomenal season, and what would be a disappointment? I think most people say anything less than 7 wins would be a disappointment. I think most people would also say 7, 8, or 9 wins would be kind of the expectation. And I think most people would say 9+ wins would be phenomenal. But I don't know, what are your thoughts on the vibe of Gamecock Nation in that question?
It's funny that you asked that, because I'm on several groups on Facebook as well, and I posed the question earlier today. I was like, give me some hot takes or just your prediction for the year. And there were a lot of wide varieties of answers. And you got some people that are just always going to be doom and gloom. They say 7-5 because we don't have a running back, we don't have linebackers, we don't have this, we don't have that, offensive line, whatever. Then you have some people that are like, oh, we're going 12-0, we're going 12-0. And I'm like, all right, 12-0. It's not 12-0 anymore, because then the playoffs start, and then you gotta win those games too. I think that right in the middle of that is where most fans are, where it's like 7 wins. Are you kidding me? That would be a disappointment to me. 12 wins, I would love it, but I don't think it's gonna happen. And then I'm closer to that 9 or 10 wins, but I could see 8 wins as well. It's a really tough schedule. It always is. We play some of the best competition in the nation, and that's one of the best things about playing in the SEC. You get the primetime broadcasts, you get all the NIL opportunities. People know your name. They're going to chant your name, and a full Williams-Brice Stadium is nothing to laugh at either. But I will say this. I think we have a lot of big road games this year. Like last year, we went into Oklahoma, went into Kentucky and things like that. Those were not super difficult road games, especially when you go up like you did early in Oklahoma. But then you look at going to LSU, going to Death Valley, a place where we have struggled our entire existence in the SEC, right?
Just against them, period.
Right, against them, period. Thank you. And A&M, same thing, against them, period. We've beaten them, 3 times now? I think 2 or 3 times now. And I just think if you come in thinking, oh, we're going to go undefeated and this and that, those are really tough places to play. Just like Williams-Brice,
Alabama,
right? Well, they're coming here this year.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. They'll be here for homecoming game.
That should be interesting.
It should be.
Hey, well, speaking of that, and speaking of games and going forward, here's what I'd like to do this episode. We're going to get your predictions game by game. Next episode, I'll give you mine, give a little more time to think about it. And so we'll see if we hit that mark. And I got one question for you after we do the predictions for the games. All right. So,
okay, you want my score too, or just my win-loss type thing?
Let's do win-loss right now, and let's see how ours compare. And we'll save this little clip at the end of the year and throw it in a little video so we can
see how we do, right?
Reflect, right? Okay.
That's right.
All right. August 31st, in less than a month. Right? Okay, well, no, I just lied. Right at a month, we were playing Virginia Tech in Atlanta for the Chick-fil-A Classic game. I saw today that Frank Beamer and the Beamer family are going to be recognized at the opening ceremonies of the game. He's actually going to give the prayer for the game, the invocation. So that should be interesting.
That is interesting. That's
3
awesome.
p.m. on ESPN. That's a Sunday game. So it's a Sunday game after the Saturday slate of opening college football. What do you got for that one?
All right, I think this is the most overlooked trap game on our schedule. I know it sounds a little bit cliche to say, first game you're going to have your problems, but in years past, Shane Beamer's teams have started incredibly slow. They build momentum as the season goes along, but it seems like it takes 2 to 3 games before we are even realizing what we're doing. I would like to think that LaNorris picks up right where he left off, but you can't guarantee that. I mean, he didn't play super great against Illinois. I think he had a high percentage rating and things like that, but just you can't guarantee how a team is going to start. If you look at just talent wise, I think we blow them out of the water. I mean, we have 3 guys that I can name right now that I think are more talented than any of the guys that I've done research on their team. But I will say this, I think we should not go into that game thinking, oh, it's going to be an easy win. I think it's going to be, a smaller program or this or that. I think we have to take it like it's the biggest game of the year. I know Beamer's big on that, saying competition does not end because of who the team that we're playing is. But I really hope that we are able to get everything together, build it up right, get our team playing efficiently in that first game. I think we're gonna win, and I think we're gonna win pretty big. But I still think we're gonna start pretty slow.
All right, so win. And just for sake of time, let's go a little quickly through these next few ones.
That's right. Okay.
Let's see what you got for South Carolina State the next week at 7 p.m. at Williams-Brice.
That's a win, I think. Put that under the win category.
All righty. Then we have Vanderbilt. Okay, Vanderbilt. It's either at 7 or 45 on Saturday, September the 13th. And that is at home.
Diego Pavia is overrated. He talks too much. He actually doesn't play that well, and we're gonna crush him.
All right. Like it. Like that prediction. So now we're talking about 3 wins. We're at Missouri. Always a hard place to play. Furrow Field or Ferret Field. I'm not sure how you say it.
Probably Ferret.
Missouri fans correct us on that. And I actually heard it's Missouri. So Missouri fans or Mizzou or Missouri, however you say it and however you say your field, what do you think the game's going to go? That's a flex time slot, which means it could be kind of all over the place.
Afternoon. Yeah. I think that one's going to be a win because they've lost a lot of key players. I think we bring back more talent. I know that they're, for whatever reason, they've had our number the last like 7 years, except for last year and, I guess last year. But, it's always a battle. It's always a close game. I think that's a close one on the road.
Well, we almost lost it. If it wasn't for Rocket Sanders and the will to win, we would have lost it at Williams-Brice with a minute to go. And can I just say, least likable, most hateable coach in the SEC, Guy Drinkowitz. Get lost, buddy.
I agree.
All right. September 27th, we got Kentucky at home, another flex time slot. Right now you have 4 W's for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and put that 5 down for the win column. I think we have a really good start. First time Shane Beamer starts up 5-0. I think this is going to be a highly ranked Gamecock team. Kentucky, I don't want people to think that Kentucky is, a terrible team or anything like that. I think they have talented players at key positions, but I just don't think it's enough to keep up with our secondary. I don't think it's enough to keep up with our defensive line, believe it or not. I know we have one superstar, but I think some of the other guys on our D-line, like Brian Thomas Jr., he's a beast. I know people don't know him very well yet, but I think they will after this season. We got Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy from A&M. We got a lot of those key players, and I think people are sleeping on that D-line position for our group. But it's Williams-Brice. It's our turf. We crushed them last year in Lexington, so I think we're gonna come out and have pretty much call our shots with Kentucky.
That would be amazing for Gamecock Nation. So I've heard a lot of people say those first 5 games, if South Carolina can get to the LSU game 5-0, wow, what a game we have on October the 11th. We have a bye week before the LSU game at LSU. Flex time. but you know they're going to push hard for that game to be 8 o'clock, which we also know in the real Death Valley, they are basically unbeatable at night. They've only lost like less than 10 games or 12 games in the last so many seasons, something like that. What do you think? What do you give us our chances?
All right, I've been going back and forth with this game for a very long time. There's a lot of let's see, exterior narratives that have been coming out. Obviously, there's a little bit of bad blood between LaNorris and Nussmeier. LaNorris getting picked above Nuss. I think Nussmeier is an excellent, phenomenal quarterback. He really impressed me last year when they came to Columbia. I had heard of him. I knew of him. I thought he was going to be good, but man, he really impressed me. I think they did really well in the portal this year. I think they have a lot of key pieces on offense and defense. I'm going to say it's a really close game again, but I think they beat us.
All right, so we got one loss. I agree. I think that's probably a pretty fair assumption. I don't think that takes a lot of wind out of our sails. The next week we have Oklahoma at home in the early time slot, so I believe that's going to be probably a 12 o'clock kick at Williams-Brice. What do you think about that? I think you're going to like our chances again.
Yeah. So I don't understand this, but Oklahoma fans are one of the newest groups that we've seen in the SEC, and they are constantly talking. And I'm like, guys, you were a dud last year, and it was your first time in a conference. I remember in the offseason last year, all their fans saying they're going to come in and destroy the SEC and be elite and this and that. And I'm like, you're not on the prairie anymore, or whatever their saying is, or whatever they do, and they go like this. But you're coming to Williams-Brice for the first time. I don't care who you are. You're gonna figure out real quick what we do in South Carolina. I think it's the best, most underrated college game day experience. College experience in a loud stadium, a lot of lights, a lot of moving, pieces and things. I think they have a really good quarterback in John Mateer. I've seen some highlights from him. I think he came from Washington State. But I tell you what, I think he's no match for Dylan Stewart, and I think Dylan's going to eat him up. I got Gamecocks big in this one, too.
That's great. Yeah, I like that. I like that call. Then the next week we have Alabama, and you corrected me, at home in the flex time spot. What do you think?
Yeah.
Do we get a revenge?
This is our get back game. I expect Shane Beamer to have a very emotional speech before the game and after the game, maybe some, Gamecock magic here and there. The production team does a really good job with that. But I think we are going to come out firing like two heavyweights. I think we are. I think there's a lot of hype around Alabama that I don't understand. I don't understand why they were picked above us in the college football playoff rankings at the end of the season last year. They were just average. And it's because their name carries a lot of weight that they were picked above us. I think this is going to be a get back moment, and I think it's going to be a big moment. I think we are going to come out victorious, and I think we're going to come out pretty heavily victorious. I think Kalen DeBoer is, a decent coach, but I think Shane Beamer's going to have his boys ready for this game.
All right, I like it. So a win for the Gamecocks. So I believe now we are up to 7-1. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, we have 4 games left. Just for sake of time, let's see what we could do quickly here. Ole Miss at Ole Miss.
That's a tough one. I think that's another one that people sleep on. I'm going to go ahead and give us a win, though, because they did lose their quarterback. It's kind of a similar situation with Missouri. I think it's a tough place to play. It's always kind of back and forth with the series that we've played with them, but I'm going to give us the win there. I think we're more talented.
At A&M in
That's
the
a
early
loss.
spot. Early spot now.
I think that's a loss. We don't play well there. I think they brought in a lot of key talent from the portal. I think they're going to beat us pretty good.
Interesting. Okay. Coastal Carolina back at home in the afternoon time spot.
Yeah, that's a win. I think they're going to keep it close for the first couple, quarters, and I think come out have a different team, and obviously put some backups in and get some more points up on the board.
All right. Saturday, November 29th, after Thanksgiving and turkey time. We have Clemson at 12 p.m. Some people are upset about that. Some people are happy about that. We know it's at Williams-Brice Stadium. Our last home game, potentially for LaNorris Sellers. What do you see happening there? This could be a really, really important game with playoff implications for both teams once again.
That's what they said last year. We beat them, and sure enough, we didn't do anything. The rankings don't matter now. Just joking, but I really think this is going to be a high-powered quarterback matchup again. I've been wrestling with this game a lot because I do think Clemson is more talented as far as the players they have on their staff. I don't say that without gagging a little bit in my mouth or regurgitating a little bit in my mouth,
Excuse me.
but I still think that South Carolina is going to get it done. I think it's going to be a very similar game to Missouri's game this past season. And I think it's going to be just back and forth and one of the instant classic game. But I really think that we have this momentum building and nothing is going to get in their way at the end of the year. I think that is going to be, if we beat the teams that we have to beat, and then you got the toss-ups like I said, A&M and LSU, if you get one of those games, you're in the playoffs and probably in the driver's seat for the SEC.
All right, well, that's what I was going to bring up next. So you predicted a 10-2 regular season finish for the Gamecocks. Correct me if I'm wrong, but last year, didn't you get the exact number of wins correctly?
I think I did, but I had some of the wrong teams that.
Right, fair enough. But if South Carolina goes 10-2, is that enough for us to make the playoffs?
Yes, if we get anything less than 10 and we have more than 2 losses, it's not. I think the committee was very clear on 10-2 versus 9-3. And I think, again, it's more about the wins in the eyes of the committee voters rather than the quality of victory or who you're playing week in and week out. It doesn't really matter.
Well, I think you and I think similarly on a lot of things. So obviously we're brothers, but I'll give my predictions next game. That'll be very interesting. I'll have you go through the games with me like that.
Good.
Well, everyone, we just want to say thanks for joining, and thanks for joining the first episode of season 2 of the Garnet Bros show. We're super excited about the new platforms we'll be on here soon. One thing we do ask that you guys do for us is just give us a like, a share, or just spread the word about the Garnet Bros show and say, hey, I like this or didn't like it or whatever. We just appreciate you watching and interacting with us. And hopefully you like it too. One thing we pride ourselves on is we're just two brothers who love the Gamecocks. We're not overly scientific. We don't have all the recruiting up-to-date crystal ball information. But we love South Carolina. We're passionate about it. And we're going to give you our honest feedback on it. And we hope you guys feel the same way. And we want you to do the same thing. So as we wrap up our first episode, we just want to say again, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And we are so excited about producing some more episodes, getting them up and rolling, and getting excited about Gamecock football. So be on the lookout for our new episodes. Be on the lookout for our hot takes. We'll be posting some short social media clips that you also could share and spread the word for us that way. And we just are so excited about y'all being with us again this season. And we can't wait to get going in the future. We'll talk to you soon. Until next time, the Garnet Bros are out. We love y'all. Go Cox, Boo Clemson, and we'll see y'all next time.
Bye.